and you see the genealogy of Jesus Christ. And it goes back, the son of David, the son of this, the son of that, the son of that, until it reached Adam, who is the Son of God. And that tells us that the human experience is different from the average animal. We see in Genesis 1 there that God was making the birds after their kind and the beast after its kind and everything after their kind. But then he said, let us make man in our likeness, in our image and likeness. So let's not fool ourselves. You're a human being. You're not just a piece of material out there. You're not the lower animals without a brain. We were made with capacity beyond anything else. That is why God says that we should go and have dominion over all the earth. And that's why the strong beasts like the lions or the elephants, they are all held captives by men. We controls everything because this is the way God has made us. We have the ability to go beyond the ordinary and experience the extraordinary and even the transcendent. Because of the way we are made, we're just not satisfied in living as if we're just a chair and life is without meaning and purpose. We just evolved. So that idea of not having a creator certainly has spread through the society like a disease. And as much as man know that there is a God, they are being taunted by these thoughts. And faith is what is lacking. Our duty is to emphasize the message of creation and that there is a creator until people can come to believe and have faith. And it is by faith that we are being saved. Ecclesiastes 3:11, brethren. There's something deep inside this verse that speaks to the relevance of God to man. He has made everything beautiful in its time. Also, he has put eternity in their hearts, except that no one can find out the work that God does from the beginning. There is always in human being a longing for life and more life and more life. Who wants death? Even the person with huge problems, unless they're psyched into asking for death, try to avoid it as long as we can, because we were just not made to accept death as our final destiny. What God has put in his creation is eternity. He has put eternity in their hearts. So there is in everyone a longing for eternal life. If you're in tune, if you're in faith, it is just something that is there. Now, to find a way to eternal life is another matter. But the desire is there because mankind wants to live and live forever. It's just something that we observe naturally, that people want life, not death. And it is God who put that desire in us for eternity. And therefore, this void is always there. This hunger and thirsting for something more. in today's society, we're offered a lot. Lots of alternatives. And the choices are devastating to the human society. Many turn to drugs. And beautiful children, teens and young people, because of the longing for something more than what they can see around them, something more than what the material can provide them, they go to the feeling. And it is one of the worst things to hear of the amount of in their quest to experience something more than the ordinary. Brethren, we are blessed to experience God's presence right here among us every single week, in our homes, every day, wherever we are. He said he would not leave us or forsake us. He would be with us always. That is how much we are dependent of God, on God, and how much we need to be with God, because he is most relevant in our lives. We rejoice because we're among those that are called to faith and have found the answer. Yes, we have found the answer to eternal life. Jesus said in John 10:10, the thief does not come except to steal and to kill and to destroy. But here is what we know. I have come that they may have life and that they may have it more abundantly. Abundant life is what comes by faith in Jesus Christ. It is the only way. It is the only way to fulfill the desires that we all have for something greater than what we can see around us and experience in the ordinary. Jesus came to give us that eternal life. God be praised. At some point in our lives, all of us start to ask a question: why am I here? Remember, as a pretty young age, I started thinking, where did I come from? And where did my parents come from? And I tried to trace it back until I asked the question, where did God come from? And my mind started to expand. And of course, my parents would explain to me how God created the first two persons, and, by the increase and multiply until we're where we are today. Slowly come to accept that. But the next question, of course, is, where are we going? Where am I going? What's my destiny? And that was the one that tugged hard at my heart for years, because especially as a teen, trying to make sense of life, to determine where to go, you're being pulled left, right, and center with the different ideologies and things around you. You're basically asked to be like everybody, just living for the day. But I remember that morning when I went to the riverside. It was a real lovely, clear water flowing. It was April 13, 1980, when I got baptized. And that was the freest and the most hopeful I ever felt. Teenage years were pretty rough trying to figure out life. But I was only 16 and a half, maybe not quite a half, just over 16, when I found the answer. And reading the Bible and seeing how Daniel wrote, and I understood when he wrote the book, he was just about 17, 18. I said, oh, but we can figure out life early. We don't have to wait until we are, 60, 70. Teens can figure out what life is about because Daniel said some things about the Creator. And in fact, God was able to reveal to him the entire future of the world, what's going to happen. And he took some very strong position about his faith, right? He was put before the lions because as a young man, God was relevant to him. And when they tried to set him up for the king to destroy him, because Nebuchadnezzar would say when he plays the music, everyone must bow down to his image. And Daniel would not serve any other god. But at that young age, he knew the true and living God. And so he stood before the lions. And this is what I want us to really focus on, brethren. That when God is personal to you, you're not just doing a religious thing. It's not about going to church. You're talking about having your heart into it with God. Daniel could face the lions. And God could come to his rescue and close the lion's mouth. These beasts were trained to tear people apart. But when the man of God stood up, it wouldn't be long before Nebuchadnezzar realized that this man had the Spirit of God in him. Just like Moses was discovered as one having the Spirit of God and was chosen to lead the great Egyptian kingdom at the time. So we're going through life, brethren. The rough teenage, we ask the questions. And I really pray that all our teens here will say, you have found the answer. The answer cannot be that you're pleasing anyone. The answer has to be that you find satisfaction in the